Okay, so part two. We're going from radians to degrees, but we also want to go from degrees to radians, right? So what we did is we did go from degrees to radians. Now we want to go from radians to degrees. So we want to be able to toggle back and forth. Now this is going to be very brief, but what I want you to think about is when we said that 2 pi is 360, right? We said that pi is 180. What I want you to do is remember that that's the focal point. This equivalence is all that you need. If I want to ask myself, what is 45 degrees? Okay, if I want to put it in radians, I will multiply by, I want to get rid of the degrees, so I will divide by 180, right, so that the degrees cancel out. But then I will introduce pi as a new measure, right, because I want that distance. And what this does is it gives me the proportion. So what happens is I get 45 pi over 180, right? The degrees are gone. Now I'm in radians. And so what I can do then is just use my simplification of fractions to find that 9 will go into this 1, 2, 3, 4 times, right? So this is pi over 4. And I can put pi over 4, or I can put pi over 4 radians with a period, okay? And pi over 4 is something in calculus. When we talk about pi over 4, we know that's 45 degrees. Pi over 4 is 45 degrees. Pi, 180 degrees. Pi over 2, 90 degrees. That's just what it is, because that is a radian measure that is so much more infinitely easier to deal with than dealing with 45. Pi over 4 is easier than 45, honestly. And you'll recognize this as you go higher into mathematics. So that's how we do. So if we want to have a degree and make it into radians, I should see pi. 90% of the time, I should see pi or a decimal. Okay? But if I want to go the other way, which is what your assignment is going to be, going the other way means that I want to have degrees, and I want to have a radian, and I want to get rid of the pi. I want to cancel the pi out, so I actually see the degree symbol. This is a pi, so I want to see a degree now. So, for example, let's say that I have 9 pi over 5. I have no idea what that is in degrees, but visually, mentally, because I've been a student of math for a while, I know 9 pi over 5 is pretty close to 360 degrees. All right, I just know that because I've been doing this a while, and 10 pi over 5 reduces to 2 pi, and 2 pi is 360, right? So this is pretty close to 360, but I want to know exactly what it is. So what I do is I multiply by a scale factor. I multiply by the scale factor that gets rid of the pi, but introduces the degrees, okay? So now the pi's will cancel out. Now this is the equivalence. This is the scale factor. 180 is pi. So 180 degrees divided by pi is 1, right? That's the equivalence. So now the pi's cancel out. I have a degree left, so this means that my answer will be in degrees. All right, because the pi's are gone, the degree is introduced. So 5 will go into 180. Ooh, let's see, 56 times, right? 5 goes in there. No. 36 times. 3, yeah, 36. Okay, so 36 times. So this means 180. These guys have been canceled, so 9 times 36 is what I'm looking for. 9 times 36. So 9 times 36, 9 times 6 is actually 54. Add the 5 to 27. 27 plus 5 is going to be 324 degrees. Okay, so pretty close to 360, but it's missing a pi over 5. If this would have been 10 pi over 5, that would have canceled out to 2 pi, and 2 pi is 360 degrees. Okay, so 324 degrees is 9 pi over 5. Okay? So, your worksheet this evening, or whenever you check this out, will look like a mosaic. And the mosaic, I would encourage you to print it out. Print it out, but if not, just have, 1, 2, just list which ones. For example, here we go. I'll just kind of show you. This is it. Okay. Whoops. I just hit that. Pi over 3, right? Okay, so you got pi over 3. Here's number 1. Pi over 3. Okay. I want to get rid of the pi, right? So the pi needs to be divided, like that needs to cancel out. And so the 180 will go up here. That's my equivalency, right? This is my scale factor. So the pi's cancel out. And now what I have is, if I want pi over 3, that's like saying I want 180 degrees being divided by 3. And that's 60. All right. So pi over 3 is 60 degrees. And this is going to be a lot, after we use these formulas tonight, in a couple days, we will talk about, visualizing this a lot easier. Like, it's really simple. Pi over 3 will be naturally 60 degrees in your brain. Right now, it's a formula. It's a process of getting rid of the pi, introducing degrees, or if you have degrees, getting rid of the degrees and introducing pi. That's how we convert from radians to degrees and degrees to radians, and that's what we're after. Okay, that's what we're after for today. No, correction. Your worksheet, your mosaic, hopefully you can print it out, will be going from radians to degrees. That's it. Okay, radians to degrees, and this demonstrates how to do that. Okay, so good skill, and have a good night. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Kind of homeschooling the kids, like just checking it out, and got a big schedule and STEM activities for them to do, and I got to teach Atticus calculus, and it's tough. It's tough. He's resisting, but I got to push him. Okay. Anyways, see you guys later. Have a good night.